Welcome to Vietnamese Dong News. Today we are taking a closer look at a topic that has been generating significant discussion across financial markets, international trade circles, and among investors worldwide. Recent shifts in Vietnam's currency policy have placed the Vietnamese dong firmly in the spotlight, leading many analysts to ask why this currency is suddenly attracting global attention. The latest developments surrounding the Vietnamese dong are being viewed as more than just a domestic monetary adjustment. For many observers, they represent an important signal about how emerging economies are adapting to changing global economic conditions. As exchange rates fluctuate and governments around the world continue to respond to inflation, trade imbalances, and economic uncertainty, Vietnam's approach to managing its currency is becoming a case study in modern economic policymaking. At the center of this discussion is the recent revaluation of the Vietnamese dong. While the term revaluation may sound technical, its implications can be felt across multiple sectors of the economy. Currency movements influence everything from the cost of imported goods and international trade to tourism, foreign investment, and consumer purchasing power. To understand why this development matters, we first need to examine the role that the Vietnamese dong plays. Within Vietnam's broader economic framework, Vietnam has transformed itself over the past several decades into one of Asia's most dynamic economies. The country has become a major manufacturing hub, attracting multinational corporations seeking competitive production costs and strategic access to regional markets. Exports have become a critical pillar of economic growth, with products ranging from electronics and machinery to textiles and agricultural goods reaching consumers around the world. This export-driven growth model has helped Vietnam achieve impressive economic expansion while strengthening its position in global supply chains. As a result, any significant movement in the value of the Vietnamese dong attracts attention, not only from domestic businesses, but also from international corporations, financial institutions, and policymakers. The recent revaluation reflects Vietnam's efforts to address a changing economic environment. One of the primary concerns facing policymakers has been the impact of rising import costs. When a country imports large quantities of raw materials, energy products, technology components, and consumer goods, fluctuations in exchange rates can significantly affect domestic prices. A stronger currency can help reduce the cost of imports because fewer units of the local currency are required to purchase goods priced in foreign currencies. For households, this can translate into lower inflationary pressure and improved purchasing power. Consumers may find that imported products become relatively more affordable, helping ease some of the financial strain associated with rising global prices. This aspect of the policy has become particularly important as countries around the world continue to navigate inflationary challenges. While inflation rates vary by region, the broader global economy has experienced periods of elevated price pressures due to supply chain disruptions, geopolitical developments, labor shortages, and shifts in monetary policy. Against this backdrop, Vietnam's decision to support a stronger currency can be interpreted as part of a broader effort to maintain economic stability. By helping contain imported inflation, policymakers may be seeking to protect household purchasing power while reinforcing confidence in the country's economic management. However, currency revaluations are rarely without trade-offs. While consumers may benefit from lower import costs, exporters can face additional challenges. A stronger currency can make a country's exports more expensive for foreign buyers. When international customers must spend more of their own currency to purchase Vietnamese goods, some exporters may experience increased competition from producers in countries with weaker currencies. This balancing act lies at the heart of currency policy. Policymakers must weigh the benefits of stronger purchasing power against the potential impact on export competitiveness. The challenge becomes even more complex in an economy like Vietnam's, where exports contribute significantly to growth, employment, and foreign exchange earnings. This is one reason why financial markets closely monitor any adjustments involving major export-oriented economies. Investors understand that exchange rate movements can influence corporate profitability, trade balances, and future economic performance. The market reaction to the dong's revaluation highlights the interconnected nature of today's global financial system. Modern currency markets operate within a complex network of economic relationships. A policy decision in one country can affect investment flows, trade agreements, and business strategies across multiple regions. For international investors, the recent developments have raised important questions. Is Vietnam signaling greater confidence in its economic outlook? Does the policy suggest that inflation risks are becoming a higher priority? Could this move attract additional foreign capital by demonstrating economic stability? While definitive answers may take time to emerge, the fact that these questions are being asked illustrates the growing importance of Vietnam within the global economy. Another factor contributing to heightened attention is Vietnam's role in global manufacturing. Over the past decade, many multinational companies have expanded their operations in Vietnam as part of broader efforts to diversify supply chains. This trend has accelerated as businesses seek greater resilience and flexibility in response to global disruptions. As Vietnam's integration into international production networks deepens, developments affecting the country's currency naturally attract wider scrutiny. Manufacturers, logistics providers, retailers, and investors all have a stake in understanding how exchange rate movements might influence costs, pricing strategies, and future investment decisions. For American audiences, the implications extend beyond financial markets. Consumers in the United States purchase a wide variety of products manufactured in Vietnam. These include electronics, clothing, footwear, furniture, and numerous other goods. Changes in currency values can influence production costs, export pricing, and ultimately retail prices. Although the effects may not be immediately visible, exchange rate adjustments often work their way through supply chains over time. Businesses constantly evaluate currency movements when making decisions regarding sourcing, pricing, and inventory management. Travelers may also notice certain effects. Exchange rates play a crucial role in determining purchasing power abroad. A stronger local currency can affect the relative cost of travel-related expenses, accommodations, dining, and shopping. While multiple factors influence travel costs, currency fluctuations remain an important consideration for international visitors. Foreign investors, meanwhile, often view currency stability as a key component of a favorable investment environment. Stable and predictable exchange rate policies can reduce uncertainty and improve confidence among businesses considering long-term commitments. The recent revaluation has therefore sparked debate regarding what it signals about Vietnam's economic future. Some analysts view the move as evidence of increasing economic maturity. According to this perspective, Vietnam's policymakers are demonstrating a willingness to adapt to changing conditions while prioritizing long-term stability. Rather than focusing exclusively on export competitiveness, they may be pursuing a more balanced approach that considers inflation, consumer welfare, and sustainable growth. Others caution that currency management remains a delicate process. Global economic conditions remain uncertain, and exchange rate policies must continuously adapt to evolving circumstances. Interest rate decisions by major central banks, commodity price fluctuations, and geopolitical developments can all influence currency markets in unpredictable ways. This caution underscores an important reality. No single policy decision guarantees a particular economic outcome. Financial markets are influenced by countless variables, many of which operate simultaneously. Currency, revaluations can produce benefits in some areas, while creating challenges in others. The ultimate impact depends on how businesses, consumers, investors, and policymakers respond over time. One particularly interesting aspect of the current situation is the role of investor sentiment. Markets are not driven solely by economic data. Expectations, perceptions, and confidence also play powerful roles. When investors interpret a policy move as a sign of economic strength, capital flows may increase. Increased investment can support business expansion, infrastructure development, and innovation. Conversely, if uncertainty rises, market participants may become more cautious. The fluctuations observed following the dong's revaluation reflect this dynamic process. Markets are constantly evaluating new information and adjusting expectations accordingly. For Vietnam, maintaining credibility will likely remain an important priority. Consistent policy communication, transparent decision-making, and effective economic management can help reinforce confidence among both domestic and international stakeholders. Looking at the broader picture, the attention surrounding the Vietnamese dong also reflects larger changes occurring within the global economy. Emerging markets are playing increasingly important roles in international trade, manufacturing, and investment. Countries that were once considered secondary players now occupy strategic positions within global supply chains. As their economic influence grows, so does the significance of their currencies. Vietnam's experience serves as an example of this transformation. What might once have been viewed as a regional policy adjustment is now being analyzed by investors, economists, and businesses around the world. This growing interconnectedness has both advantages and challenges. On one hand, increased integration creates opportunities for trade, investment, and economic growth. On the other hand, it means that local developments can have international consequences. Policymakers must therefore consider not only domestic objectives, but also how their actions may be interpreted by global markets. As we consider the short-term outlook, volatility may remain a feature of the currency landscape. Exchange rates often experience periods of adjustment following significant policy changes. Market participants need time to assess implications, revise forecasts, and adapt strategies. In the longer term, however, the focus is likely to shift toward fundamentals. Economic growth, productivity gains, investment trends, export performance, inflation management, and financial stability will continue to shape perceptions of Vietnam's economic trajectory. These fundamentals ultimately matter more than short-term market reactions. Countries that maintain strong institutions, encourage investment, support innovation, and manage economic risks effectively tend to build resilience over time. Currency values often reflect these underlying strengths. For followers of the Vietnamese dong, the current developments offer an opportunity to better understand how modern currency systems operate. Exchange rates are not merely numbers on a screen. They represent the intersection of economic policy, market expectations, trade relationships, and investor confidence. The recent revaluation illustrates how policymakers attempt to balance competing objectives within a rapidly changing global environment. It also demonstrates why currency movements attract such widespread attention from businesses, governments, and investors alike. As additional data becomes available in the months ahead, analysts will continue evaluating the effects of this policy shift. Questions regarding inflation, export competitiveness, investment flows, and consumer purchasing power will remain central to the discussion. What appears clear at this stage is that the Vietnamese dong has become an increasingly important currency to watch. Vietnam's expanding role within the global economy means that developments affecting its financial system are likely to attract continued interest from international audiences. Whether viewed through the lens of trade, investment, manufacturing, or monetary policy, the story of the Vietnamese dong reflects broader themes shaping the world economy today. It highlights the growing influence of emerging markets, the challenges of managing inflation and growth simultaneously, and the importance of adapting policy to changing economic realities. The coming months will provide valuable insights into how businesses, consumers, and investors respond to these developments. While uncertainty remains a natural part of financial markets, the ongoing evolution of Vietnam's economy ensures that the Vietnamese dong will remain a topic of significant interest. Thank you for watching today's Vietnamese dong update. If you enjoy balanced, factual, and responsible coverage of currency developments and international economic news, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And remember, this content is provided for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered financial, investment, legal, or professional advice. Always conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before making financial decisions.